as your aim is to reach worldwide, what's your opinion on youth of countries like Canada, Georgia, South Africa, and the District of Columbia in US and Australian Capital Territory in Australia, where psychotropic things have been legalized? So how
They're all stupid people. Do you think all these people are very wise people? They're all stupid people. No hallucinogen, no psychotropic hallucinogen, lock, stock, and barrel, no weights. All these people, do you think they are very intelligent people? No, they are very, very stupid people. Only meditators and vegetarians are intelligent people. Non-meditators, non-vegetarians, they're all stupid people. They don't know anything. They live life in the wrong way. And they get mentioned by people like you. No, they don't exist in my dictionary.
Namaste, dear friends and masters. A very warm welcome to our daily meditation program presence for the batch 1. And today is the day 12. And I am happy to be your host for today. My name is Namita Singh. I live in Gurgaon. I would like to share my self-exploration journey so far with you. I had joined in July 2020. Yes, that's why this 40-day program is very special for me, and it is integral part of my life to attend morning sessions. Since then, I was looking for calmness as my mind was wavering, but I just kept exploring myself, finding the new version of me as I just was able to find the presence within me. As we say, when we mold the clay to make it turn it into a pot, it is the emptiness that makes it useful. More and more I was getting into emptiness, more and more I was discovering the new improved version of myself, and that too without any expectation. In the 4th week of my first program itself, my insomnia was cured. I was on heavy medication before that for the last 4 years, and I've always ensured that there is spare strip of that particular medication in my side drawer. Now it looks like a dream that, oh, that was the case. Since then, I have not taken a single pill for my sleep disorder. Sometimes I do wake up in the middle of the night, but I do meditate for 15-20 minutes, then I go back to sleep. Likewise, my migraine was also taken care of as I practiced meditation in 2.5 years' time. Frequency of taking medicine subsequently came down, and then I realized I had not taken any medicine for my migraine as well. So, dear friends and masters, whatever I was coming across, I was hearing co-meditators' experiences, meditative leaders' experiences, they're sharing. Sometimes I used to think, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now I can say, because I have experienced it in my own life. As I know the mantra of living a happy life, it's not that challenges are not there. Challenges are there, but I no longer panic in adverse situation. easily. I don't panic easily. Yes, and then since I am in the present moment, I can see the things as they are, and I am able to accept myself more. I am able to accept people as they are. That happened in my family also. My relationship had improved because I stopped judging, I stopped complaining, and most importantly, I stopped explaining myself. Otherwise, I was always proving my point. Especially relationship with my son had improved in the sense that I no longer judged him. Otherwise, when he was up to something, doing something different from the league, I used to be very tensed, used to ask him what you are up to, and moreover, from inside, I was very, very disturbed, restless. That was not the case. Now I know that we should not interfere in our children's life. It is their own journey. That maturity came only through meditation, and most importantly, I I gained peace out of it. I was no longer interfering in his affairs. I was never ever an avid reader, but simply because I was fascinated with spirituality, I was tempted to read books. And slowly, yes, uh, that also improved. My reading skill improved, my writing skill improved, and I can confidently say that I am certainly a smarter version of myself because I can now grasp the things at faster pace. And meditation is all about becoming comfortable, getting comfortable with yourself. The moment you accept yourself, then there is a higher degree of calmness. As we say, as the judgment goes down, the love goes up. This is what has been happening in my life. There are so many positive changes. Sometimes I didn't even notice. Over a period of time, everything was possible. And more I was getting into that emptiness, more I was connecting with that infinite intelligence. Now I firmly believe that infinite intelligence is always there to waiting for us to connect, to help us. Whether we would like to make use of that opportunity, that blessing, onus is upon us only. Last year, I had lost my father. His lifespan was quite decent, but all of a sudden, he was no more. He was discharged from the hospital, and he was on the road to recovery. Then within 25 hours, he was gone. So somehow I could not accept that fact, and I was very perturbed, very disturbed. I was not even able to meditate. Then something inside me forced me to sit into the meditation. For few minutes, I was there, and then I could hear a distinct, clear voice that it was the right time for him to go. Things might have deteriorated. That is perhaps the most profound experience. Of course, I don't compare because everything is just happening at its own pace. But that statement gave me that kind of peace and calmness. I was no longer disturbed. And most recently, manifestation, I can say we can certainly re-edit our thoughts. We have to be just consistent. Consistency is the key, dear friends and masters. Either you are attending your sessions, be consistent, be regular. Only then you can reap the benefits. And when I consistently worked on my thought, my visa for UK was earlier refused 2 times in 2016 and 2024. And somehow there was always conflict in me that somehow maybe manifestation is not my cup of tea, or everything is happening on its own. Whatever I want, it's always there. So I need not to manifest. But then that particular thing, since it was the need of the hour for me to go there, because my mother was there. She was not able to travel alone. I had to go. So somehow and of course my brother lived there. So I thought, why not? It's very rightful, justful for me to go there. Then I started thinking in on those lines. Otherwise, the moment I used to think about my UK trip, all the rejection, whatever was written, that letter, rejection letter, those words used to come before me, and I was kind of, I dread it. You can say that I even not only hesitated, I dreaded to apply for the third time. This is just an impossible act. This is not possible. Then I just started using affirmations that yes, universe is helping me and everything is getting aligned. My application is duly filled. All the explanations are there and all the explanations are well understood by the service worker. Everything is getting aligned and I have been granted the visa and I'm going there. Everything just fell in place and yes, I got the visa and I went there. I came back there also after my visit. So this maybe now it may look a very small thing, but at that point of time, it was just an impossible thing even to happen. Everything is possible, dear friends and masters. Everything is possible when you meditate. You have to just believe in yourself. There is no procrastination. You feel empowered. You feel empowered to take up the challenges. And certainly life becomes smoother, better, and happier as you meditate because you can always better your experiences. When thoughts get better, everything gets better, be it your health, be it your wealth, be it your relationship. So just latch on to meditation. I might have skipped many benefits, but somehow I just went in the flow to share my experiences with you. So, dear friends and masters, especially newcomers, just latch on to meditation. With that, I request Chandra sir to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Namta madam. Many points out there. Our personal experience. My life is a message is Mahatma Gandhiji. My life is a message. For everyone's life is a message to somebody out there. Everyone's life is a message. Because eventually there is a whole bunch of experiences that string together become something that is useful in a spiritual sense parlance, useful to a set of people that you come here together as planned entities that are coming together to do and experience things together. So to all of them, it becomes directly useful. So thank you for sharing your experience elaborately. Happy morning, dear friends and masters. Good afternoon, evening. Namitaji said, now I know to not interfere in my children's lives. This is a very important point to be extended about the interference part of it. Interference into people's lives. Start with our children. Start with them, depending on the role I play, family members, extended members. And then an organization, the role I play into many colleagues and everybody, into the team members. Mirdad, one of the great masters. So children are not your children, they come through you. We have to enhance our understanding about this by studying the soul life designs, our own life design. We have to study this spiritual scientific mindset. And a scientific mindset means that we are not rejecting anything outside, we study. If every little thing we do have a plan, every little thing we do without a plan. I mean, we do with a plan. There are lakhs, millions of companies in the world, they have plans. Many people travel, they have plans. You do a function at home, you have a plan. Many things are there. And then we got to have a plan. We must be having a plan too, each of us. We come here. Cannot randomly descend to have such an intelligent system into us. When we study that aspect, we'll get to know, dear friends, that children and you, me, and every one of us come with a plan at our own accord, to live our life at our own accord. Even through quantum physics understanding, when we know that I'm not the body, I'm this energy, matter so little, energy all, and then you are the same and everyone else is the same, that's precisely what spiritual science is saying. You're much beyond the body, physical body. And so as energy, then we are the same. As consciousness, we're all the same. So then nobody is any lesser to constantly interfere, constantly tell them what is the way to do. Informing what we feel is important aspect that will help them to spiritually grow is great, but not interfering and not pushing them with authority. Everything will have consequence. If we need freedom, then they need freedom. If we need freedom, the animals need freedom. If we need it to be carefully handled, the plants and the trees around us need to be carefully handled. This understanding, of course, with the regular meditation, is coming to everyone and must come. We develop friendships with first, she said, self-love, develop friendship with that. There is nothing called that before. Always criticizing, always putting ourselves down, always saying things to us, not liking our femininity, not liking our intelligence, not liking our speech, not liking our looks, so many ways. Because something has happened sometime. Somebody put us down. Somebody made a comment on our womanhood or whatever. And so somebody left me, somebody cheated me. So then we may come up with these generic things, which essentially reject ourselves. And then when you don't have any love with me, then how can I ever give to anybody? It becomes very artificial. Constantly, I ask for love from somebody, but I don't have it. Beggars asking beggars. That's how it is. But meditation, dear friends, the more we understand the connection, the more we experience in every day in these meditations, very sincerely practice and go in, then we are recognizing it is okay. It is okay I messed up. It is okay I did this. It is okay I did that. But then let me not criticize me. Let me not reject me. The first thing must come. So we have great friendship with ourselves. When we recognize we're all connected, we have great friendship with everybody. When we recognize the nature is pretty much an integral part of this whole existence, then we have great friendship with that because we are that. Then, of course, we have greatest friendship with the animal brotherhood. And so then we develop great friendship with that. So meditation is fundamentally developing friendships with everyone. And so then when you have friendship, there's no way then we can override somebody. A friend is suggesting, but the friend is accepting, all right, the other one ultimately whatever they decide. You suggest, you make suggestions, you question your friends. When things are not necessarily you think are going right, you question them, but they do not let them finally decide. Now, Scott Peck, one of the Harvard professors, when I read this statement right in the beginning of my career, beginning when I came into meditation, in a book called The Road Less Traveled, it's a nice book, very nice book. One of the initial books I read, The Road Less Traveled. You have no right to question somebody unless it helps them to grow spiritually. That statement summed up in terms of how much I can just like that push. If it's help them spiritually, do it. If it's another material experience, let them be. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they worked in this company or that company. It doesn't matter what they're taking. If they feel that they are able to take either of them, it's okay for them. So take any of them, any branch that let them study, any job let them take. Why does it have to be this way? But if they're complaining, if they're blaming others, if they're self-criticizing, those are the things that are going to help them. So point to them. Spiritual values, things that are going to help them grow spiritually. Anything against spiritual means the property of the spirit, existence, that empowerment, that love, that belongingness, expression, purity of expression. And so then purity of expression means no blame game. So then if they're blaming, then that's a way to help them. So first we need to know, but then you have no right to interfere, no right to question someone unless it's going to help them grow spiritually. So then, dear friends, many, many things go away from us in way and unsolicited advices we give and then force and push and all of that. To those who are waiting for better guidance from us, whether it's managers, whether it's leaders, whether it's parents, teachers, that's when every individual will live their life most beautifully with that freedom. We are a being of free will. The free will, because if I'm consciousness, you're conscious, you come with a plan, we come with a free will, a plan to execute, to live. It's like that. Come with a free will. In consideration with everybody else is the whole idea. Free will, but in consideration with everybody else, because we're all very connected. What I do to somebody else is doing to me. That understanding when it comes, then our decisions become impeccable in minimizing the consequence at every given moment. Harm and hurt, if it is there must be a great reason of why it is there. Like Sri Krishna asking Arjuna to go in the battlefield and then do the war. So there is going to be harm and hurt to people, but then there is a good reason why that is. Sri Krishna said that you do this. Well, Arjuna said, no, I'm this body, who are all these, they're all my relatives. How can I kill them? He did not understand that there's soul eternal. He did not understand there is a great dharma, a role that is playing. And so then he came. So it's not that the killing or hurt won't be there, but it's got to be a great reason, and consequences are always there otherwise. So every part is there, but first we need to understand, and then we understand this through meditation, through study of spiritual science, that each and every one of us are coming here with our own plan. We're all connected, working beautifully in consideration of each other. And so then we do not interfere, we do not hurt, we do not kill. Self-defense, yes. So let's go into meditation, dear friends. Towards that concept is this whole animal friendships, concept of vegetarianism. That everything we like to experience life, and so then I do let. But these things need to be studied. We can go into, we'll provide some information today of how it can benefit all these levels that I talked about, friendship to environment, to animals, to ourselves. But then they are beyond a point, it's not logic. Beyond the point, it's about just going in and then asking questions to ourselves for us to know that how much life wants to live. And so then what can I do to let life live? So let's go into the practice. Once again, we are doing breath meditation. Our goal is to rest the mind. We do this by observing our normal, natural breath. And as you see in the picture, dear friends, sit comfortably in your chair or the sofa. On the floor, cross your feet at ankle, fingers into fingers, hands rested comfortably in your lap. Closing your eyes, observe your breath. When you observe the breath slowly, mind becomes empty. And be in that state of emptiness, whatever that happens to you, just witness it, observe it, do not interpret in that state of emptiness. In case you have thought, bring your attention back to the breath and then start the process all over. We call it breath mindfulness meditation. We'll go into it, dear friends. Relax yourself. Relax your body. Dear friends, dear masters, with your specs removed, eyes closed,
With your fingers into fingers, hands in your lap, observe your normal, natural in breath and the out breath. Allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to experience that calmness, emptiness, the feel of all connection. Allow yourself to be in that emptiness of no body, of no thing. That's energy. All emptiness is energy. The feel of infinite connection, infinite coherence. Allow yourself to stay connected to that emptiness, the field of energy, the field of light. The longer you are with it, in this field of no body, of nothing, the more you experience everybody and everything, the more empathetic you become, the more you dissolve your past, overcome something from the past that helps you move into a greater connection with life. Friends, it's truly an honor and privilege to be living and experiencing this life. Many are not so blessed. Can you express gratitude to all things and everyone for helping you experience this beautiful life? Gratitude to your parents for giving us this beautiful connection to life. To your teachers and mentors for expanding our knowledge and wisdom. Gratitude to all the people in your life, your family, friends, colleagues, everyone, for helping us learn many things. Be grateful to this plant kingdom, mineral kingdom, animal kingdom, the cosmic kingdom, all that grand nature, for that beauty, energy, mystery, and more in our life. Your gratitude to all things, the technology, the system, the companies, the governments, that support our life in many, many ways. Gratitude to yourself for caring for you, for caring for others, and gratitude to this intelligent universe. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Recollect your experiences from the session. And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and then may open your eyes. Okay, dear friends, hope you enjoy the session. Let me put up a few charts around our diet choices. These are awareness. These are things that we question ourselves, because everything that we believed was right at one point is not right anymore. Slavery was right at some point, not right anymore. Dowry was right, but then those who have a perspective is never right anymore. Slavery was never right. But the perspectives change, consciousness evolves, and so then everybody raises to the same level of understanding. And so then that gets abolished. And so this whole concept of animals, and then are they my friends? Are they there for me to consume, for me to overpower, for me to sport on? These things have to be considered and looked at. There's an enormous amount of movement going on about environment protection, but not as much by countries about animal protection. It's still left to the individuals and still left to the specific small moments. Thankfully, now this awareness is more and more coming. When I came into meditation, first thing that happened was that one fine day, maybe 3-4 months into my meditation practice, this experience is this questioning, there is Vijnanamaya Kosha experience comes, intellect body experience, that something is deeply telling me that message, that what right do you have to make animals suffer? That questioning came, that's all it was. And so then when I came out, I was contemplating on it, and I felt that I must give up meat immediately. But then I took a little while, maybe a few days from there. But then that's the time that I decided that we will not need this. That contemplation has to come, that's all it is. How right it is to have, your pet in your arms, you carry it, and then sit down, and then you see the chicken on the dining table. How right it is. Is there any logic and understanding for that to explain it? Your pets here petting nicely, and then there you have something else on the table. Is it right? Then along the way, the book that ISKCON published that I read, which I could not even complete, slaughterhouses, animal farms, the way they are dealing and handling animals is just once we go and then look at something that is happening in the slaughterhouses. And then I didn't see a video, but I could not even read that book, which explains what happens in a slaughterhouse. These are gruesome, meaning the torture that animals go through, taking a big hammer and banging on the head, and there are so many things, so just gruesome. I couldn't read to say, okay, now this is it, right? Meaning, if there is, and the thing is, when they go through so much pain and suffering at the time of dying, with intense amount of fear, intense amount of pain because of the gruesomeness, there is so much of poison that is released, which is directly is going into human body. My parents went and asked Patrisa. I mean, Patrisa was always very vocal about living in friendship, great friendship with the animals. All these nutrients that we're talking about, there are different levels of understanding. And of course, when they went asked him, he said, okay, tomorrow you eat your younger child. You tell me how it is. So that's the time that my parents just thought about it. And then immediately they became vegetarians. True. They require enormous compassion, kindness. We have conscious mind, creative mind, ability to reason, logic. They are just simply living with feeling and instincts. And so they are at the mercy, but doesn't mean that we have the power over to remove them. So there is so much of, you just need to look at from a compassion perspective. You need to look at from a connection perspective. Food choices absolutely are there. The proteins, the nutrients that are there in vegetarian diet at one level, as a body level, body conscious level, it's all there, nutrients, there's enough comparisons. Lentils and tofu and these things, soya, they all produce plenty of protein that is there, which is sufficient enough. We don't need excess protein. There are stats that say that consumers are consuming 7 times more protein into the body and has all kinds of negative impacts because it has so much excess protein. That's a perspective. We have to look into it. But that's at a body level, by the friends. If we have energy and there matters so little, these things drop. These things don't even come into consideration. My personal experience, I stopped looking at labels of what is there and what's not there, other than that it is vegetarian diet. And then I'm okay. I'm absolutely okay. My body still continues to maintain a structure. I continue to be very, very healthy. I didn't have to take any medication in 24 years. And I'm happy, I'm energetic, I'm going still to the best possible that I feel that I can give my day, and then I do give. And it is possible for everyone. And so thinking that I'm this tiny body, I got to fix this is one perspective. The perspective, the more you go into energy perspective, dear friend, then we find the connection so beautifully. Connection to everything so beautifully. That at once we make up our mind that what is my right choice of food here? Should I take away the lives of many animals? An average human, when they become vegetarian, are saving the lives of 8,000 large animals in their lifetime. One person. Leaving alone countless fish. Countless. There's no count to the fish because they are so tiny. So many lives saved. Read this book, A Soul's Journey by Peter Richelieu. Somewhere talks about it, how the evolution is happening. Mineral kingdom to plant kingdom to animal kingdom to human kingdom. The pets that are there with us, they're looking to graduate to a human in the next lifetimes. not simply bones and molecules that we hear and then we dissolve. Then how do you explain so many situations where people are talented at 4 years old? People are talking about a connection of where they were born and lived before. There is a past that is continuing. Energy to matter back to energy to matter back to energy is happening, and a scientific evidence. That means that there is reincarnation is happening, and it has to be explored rather than simply be ignored. Scientific mindset. 8,000 lives are saved. That means 8,000 consciousness that are trying to explore their life differently, and then potentially they're becoming humans at some point. That's evolution. So let's look at. I was fascinated when I looked at some of these things that greatest philosophers, greatest reformers, greatest scientists are vegetarian, by the way. You take it, Thomas Alva Edison was Einstein, Pythagoras, Plato, all of them are vegetarians. All the greatest philosophers, scientists, many of them are vegetarians, died, they're carrying vegetarian diet. And so in the beginning, when Patrizi had this chart made about all the greatest vegetarian, because we take inspiration from people who are doing greatly successful or greatly influenced the world. Abraham Lincoln, vegetarian, amazing personality. It's not just East alone, but then this whole movement of vegetarianism that we protect our animal brotherhood is beautifully there. And then when we recognize ourselves as energy, the questions about protein, nutrients dissolve. And there are many people are able to do and be vegetarians and live a great life. We all can do. It's a perspective. It's a belief system for many people because they're not introduced to anything other than non-veg. So then the belief system says that, what do you mean? How can I be there, eat? Because nothing else has been introduced because their parents are also not aware. And so they're only introduced to non-veg food, so they ask that way. But then we have to consider looking at alternate choices. If there is a significant percentage of 1 billion people, plus people in that, 30% are vegetarians in India, then there's got to be some important reason of why that is so. There must be some, it's possible for many others to live. There are so many in West now taking on to this whole vegetarian vegan options with the greatest understanding that animals are our great friends. We protect them. And so let's look at a little bit here quickly. So when I came in, and then the moment I understood that it is my natural dharma, responsibility to let other things, animals live too, so I immediately gave up. And then since then, life has been just amazing, beautifully great. So let me share these charts. An understanding for better individual and greater world vegetarianism. Mahatma Gandhi, of course, was non-violent, is about a strong proponent of non-violence always. Not only about just animal violence, but of course, we never wished for guns to be there, never for violence to be there between people. Because he truly was a great master, carried Bhagavad Gita all the time. The sense of Gita is that everything is consciousness. So how can one be killed by the other? Vegetarian diet eases physical and mental well-being, aligns with principles of ahimsa, ahimsa paramo dharmaha. For the first time, we start understanding what the statement means. Reduces harm to nature and animals, of course, enhances meditation energy levels of the body. Swiftness increases. Abraham Lincoln, a vegetarian. Animal rights as well as human rights. We're talking about animal rights as much as human rights. Einstein, vegetarian. Nothing will benefit human health and increase the chance for survival of life on Earth as much as evolution to a vegetarian diet. Carl Lewis, the fastest man, was vegetarian diet. 100 meters gold in Olympics, 9 gold out of so many good times gold. Vegetarian diet. If there is any concern that protein is required, this is required. I mean, there are all kinds of things that are there. Charles Darwin, love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. Rabindranath Tagore, Nobel Prize laureate, a mystic, and then fundamentally talked about cruelty to the animals, and then if only we do not allow heart to grow callous, the protest against cruelty is always clearly heard. I mean, there's more powerful words from Rabindranath Tagore. Leonardo da Vinci, the time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look on the murder of men. Even more stronger. Mark Twain, vegetarian. Pythagoras, mathematician, vegetarian. I mean, he's talking from a very sensible perspective, saying as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. Because the dominance, the aggression is directly received, the pain is directly received when we eat. Socrates, Greek philosopher, considered God in Greece. The highest realms of thought are impossible to reach without first attaining an understanding of compassion. He's saying your progress into knowing yourself, knowing who you are, truly can only be there unless we become compassionate first. The highest realm of thought are impossible to reach. Compassion cannot be selective. It cannot be selective. It cannot be to this pet versus that, not to that animal. How can that be? If I say I'm spiritual, being a spirit, then you must at once look at and say, can I be? I mean, can I see the spirit in another animal? We must at once become a vegetarian and look at different options. And Thomas Alva Edison is a vegetarian, the greatest inventor of all times. He's talking from an ethics perspective. Highest ethics is to highest ethics. It's the goal of all evolution. Evolution, or everyone needs to reach towards higher ethical. It means ethical integral, to be consciousness, which is of the highest ethics, the God stuff. And so this is our evolution to that. And so then we stop harming all other living beings. That's the understanding that all these great philosophers, scientists have. There are many more differences in this aspect, many more out there. But some facts, common diseases of meat eaters, there's so many diseases are there. They are there, but they're there in more. They're there in vegetarians, they're there a lot more in meat eaters. Cancer has 60% reduction choice for vegetarians compared to meat eaters. We want to look from a health perspective. If you want to look from a health perspective, then this Framingham Health Study, the vegetarian diet seems to have only 40% cancer rate compared to non-veg diet, if you'd like to seek at it. Meat contains, and then there is obesity, there is, other illnesses that are there. Just putting one of these because it can go on. There is so much that is there. And today, many authorities talk about these vegetarian choices as important diet considerations. Meat contains an average 13 times more pesticides than vegetables. So much pesticides than vegetables. So then naturally they have to go somewhere. And then I have to eat meat to make muscles. Look at all these animals: buffaloes, bulls, camels, elephants, giraffes, hippos, horses, rhinoceros. They're all a vegetarian. tallest, strongest, heaviest, fastest, they're all vegetarians. I mean, utility animal like horse, vegetarian, fastest, swift. Why is it man only requires non-veg food to be very strong? And then rides on a horse, eats grass, and then he wants to eat meat. From the all perspective is friends. I mean, we've all been there. I've been there before. But then I developed a perspective, and then I felt that there are so many ways to look at it. And then herbivorous and carnivorous. Human is herbivorous. So looking at colon, our colon is 3 to 6 times body length, whereas the animals, our colon is very long, 10 to 12 times, very, very long, our intestine. Whereas animals, the meat-eating animals are very less, small, short. So that means food just comes out pretty quickly for them through the colon. Whereas for us, it has to travel the whole 9 yards. There is so much more. And that puts so much pressure on digestion. Whereas food just easy to digest. It has to be experimented. What's the best way to experiment? Take on it. And we say this 40 days is a great way to experiment to see what happens. Why not? Why not? If it's going to give so much swiftness, sharpness, and it's going to help us to dissolve so much past, not accumulate so much consequence for ourselves, why not? And increase our body health significantly. Waterways, environment. We save more water by not eating a pound of meat than by taking a shower for 6 months. There's so much water is consumed to produce a pound of meat. The water consumption is almost how many times more here? Is 15 times more to 50 times more, depending on what we're eating. A vegan diet requires 300 gallons, whereas a meat eating requires 4,000 gallons of water per day. Greenhouse gases differ. 70% of forests were grazed for meat production, growing grains that go to feed the animals. So forests are being grazed completely to feed animals only to see that all of that goes towards meat production. And so there is so much of deforestation is happening. Sustainability in terms of the whole 2.5 acres of land can feed 22 people with potatoes, while it feeds 1 to 2 people with meat and chicken. There's so much of farming is done, all of that grains go towards meat production. And so then only tiny thing comes. Sustainability in terms of how much resources are consumed, difference. Now these are all, and there is this Food Revolution book by John Robbins, must be looked at very carefully. There is so much data. This is my staggering stat when I saw this. Who is eating the food that is generated? 20% plus is wasted. A staggering 75 plus percent is by fed to livestock, so that no meat is produced. 2% is eaten by people. On the other side, there are so many hunger deaths in the world. If one country, if the United States becomes a vegetarian country, then there are no hunger deaths in the world. Global warming, UN reports. And so the point there is that when we take to vegetarian diet, there cannot be hunger deaths because there will be sufficient food available for everybody. UN reports and warn that rearing cattle produce more greenhouse gases than driving cars. Amazing, amazing levels of this greenhouse gas being produced. Unbelievable production. If they mean something. But we're not aware of this aspect. We only think cars are producing, we only think the coal is producing a lot of gases and then pollution. But this whole animal farming is also producing significant amount of greenhouse gases. Advertisements, cancer awareness has just a paltry budget. This is the current state of how we think about life. Whereas, a fast food chain comes out with a new burger, a meat burger, and then spends billions of dollars on it to promote it, to program everybody to eat more of it. To realize more cancer rates will come, but we only have $1 million and lesser to create awareness about cancer. Prevention is now never there. So if the world turns into vegetarian industry, there's so much resources, like in the form of money, is not saved. So much is saved suddenly. You don't need to use all of that money towards it. And then finally, dear friends, about this, the cardinal principle of all religions is love. Love the neighbor like yourself. And so Ayurveda is always recommended vegetarian diet. It's the most ancient practice. Medicinal system from a body perspective recommended always vegetarian diet. Ahimsa, non-violence, is the cornerstone of yoga. And then, of course, then it is there by default. The law of cause and effect is that every religion has a cardinal principle. The law of cause and effect is saying that as you sow, so you reap. What you do is what you think and feel and do is what you create and will experience more of. So there's a consequence. When I take away the freedom of somebody or something, then my freedom will be taken away at some point. The consequence is there. If I do something stupid and silly, like jumping a signal, there is a consequence. And if I stop somebody from living, there is a consequence. If I harm, there is a consequence. Loss of the land are there, but there is a loss of energy. System is absolutely there. The same thing. Consequence is there. It must be studied, dear friends. Must be studied. Vegetarian nutrition, protein, power. So there is nutrients, are there. I mean, now this is only from a body perspective. I generally don't like to put a chart like this because to me, these things dissolve when you regularly meditate and increase your understanding. But in any case, for those who require, there is an average range of up to 18 grams of protein. And you read the charts from the recommendations, and you don't need a lot of now. Meat seems to have a lot of protein. Now there is this whole challenge about what it is causing and how much damage it's causing. The average consumption is sufficient with the vegetarian food choices in the last row. That's what the charts tell. If you go back long before that, I forgot it, the team gave a slide chart of this. The average protein requirement that is supplied by the plant-based diet is more than sufficient if you choose the right choices. Now, the thing is, you don't even need to choose the right choices. You just practice meditation and slowly move towards right choices automatically. Many people ask, is it not sufficient? That's not sufficient. You're not even experimenting your body with a vegetarian diet. How can you even say this is not sufficient? Just because some intellect chart has put up. Yeah. There's an experimentation if we do. Automatically, our body directs us to eat the right food items, and so then it is taking care of itself. What matters is, am I living my purpose? And so that drives us towards right emotion. And so the body, being the biggest pharmaceutical machine, produces everything that's necessary. That's the concept. But in any case, looking at these charts, a sufficient amount of protein is there in a vegetarian diet that's more than sufficient for humans versus consuming excess protein. And so the thing is, when you compare, the extra protein in meat comes at a cost, heavier digestion, toxin buildup, and a lower energy over time. Whereas plant-based diets are talking about moderate to adequate protein, enough for normal needs. And there are many kinds of recommendations if we are looking more from a body conscious perspective to having the right combination. I'm not personally a fan of any of these combinations. I'm a fan of meditation, and then automatically you will be guided towards the right thing. Think about it. 300 years ago, where is all this? Is it all there at all? If it's not there 300 years ago, then is it necessary? What happened to our intelligence? And then people lived longer and longer and longer, and then only now we are living shorter and shorter. Where is all the intelligence going? We're not become necessarily intelligent, dear friends, by living on external charts as indications. How can one size fit all? then there's got to be that innate intelligence, something that was there which before we lost it. Now we bring the connection back, which is the connection to our body, listening to our body, becoming quieter. And meditation is that, and it is by so we are becoming that intelligence, power within us, awareness, which is telling us what is necessary for it and how much necessary for it, and then we will be taken care. That's the concept. Not depending on the charts, and get more and more programmed to believe that we are more of the physical stuff than the energy reality, dear friends. And finally, dear friends, so then sattvic food bringing calmness and clarity, easier and digestion, so more energy for things. And it aligns to the environment as we saw it, and then there is no consequences. Patrizi has been a strong vocal, greatly respected for his strong voice about how to save animals. PSS movement is regularly organizing vegetarian rallies in many places. So a few who would like to join, some of those can easily join to raise awareness about it. And so finally, animals are my friends. I do not eat them. George Bernard Shaw. Choosing vegetarianism is not a restriction, it is a liberation. We liberate ourselves, we liberate many, many, many souls out there, animals out there, dear friends. It must be considered. And so, from a practice perspective, from this meditation perspective, I found, and many people find, great amount of satisfaction, great progress. Meditation progress strengthens. And in manifestation science, this is an important element they talk about, and how others' thoughts and things influence us in our manifestations, and many considerations. Plant-based diet, vegetarian diet is a great choice to consider and move into. So thank you very much, dear friends. And these slides will be available if anybody would like to use that to familiarize themselves or share with somewhere where you feel it can help. So thank you. Yes, Namita Madam, any announcements?
No, sir, no announcement for today.
Okay, dear friends, so thank you all. Have a wonderful day. We will meet again tomorrow. If there are questions about this concept, anybody wants to talk about if you have become vegetarian and how it's helping you, I think now is the time to come out and then speak, dear friends. So thank you all. We'll do that sharing after a short break. Thank you.
I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today and let go of who I was before the dawn. Take only what I need with me. Leave behind hurtful memories. Once I have learned all I can, I can't keep carrying my pain with me. Every moment, every day, I'm always deciding how I want to live, who I want to be.
No, we are sharing. Yes. Any questions, madam?
There is one question in the question answer section, sir, from Shazia Shehzad, ma'am. In food industry, they create the vegetarianism is better than ghee. Vegetarian oil is better than ghee. Is vegetarian diet versus non-vegetarian diet is propaganda? Is it due to non-availability of the resources in future?
I have no questions, madam. I just spoke about so much. First, look at compassion. Everything else wanes away. If abundance is there, next week we talk about Monday, we talk about the quantum field of limitless potential. That infinite potential field is there. Everything is in abundance. And so this resource diminishing, when we look at matter as matter, is all that way. So we are not talking about this as resources are going to be short, and so then you do this or that. We're talking about love and compassion on one side, and then we have abundance to create. So what we'd like to create, we create. It is bound to happen. But there is ethical considerations of letting other life live. That's what we're talking about primarily. While the friendship towards environment and animals, and then everyone is there. So I don't get your question of resource diminishing. Yes.
Yes, dear friends and masters, kindly raise your hands after this thought-provoking and very motivating talk. In fact, sir, yeah. Yes, Prakash, sir. Yes, sir. Please unmute yourself. Yes, Prakash, sir, kindly unmute yourself. Yes. And
Morning, sir. Namaste.
can you please turn your camera on?
It's won't happen, madam. We have to promote as panelists.
He's here, sir.
Oh, he's already in panelists? Okay. It's okay if it's possible, do it. I'd like to see hear an experience of those who turn into vegetarians and how they're feeling. I think that's important. That'll be great to hear. There are some who are vegetarians from the birth. Okay, sir, please go ahead and speak.
Sir, I'm not able to get it clear, sir. So, basically, I do agree with you with the concept you have said, the vegetarian versus non-vegetarian. Basically, on the question of compassion and loving human beings. But what happens is even in non-veg also there are a lot of uh, uh, proteins and other things. In vegetarian also there. But when we evolved in evolution, this is how the evolution is coming, sir. You remember earlier how the human beings come up. So, but compared to that evolution and the concept what you are saying, is there any similarity, sir? I make one myself
Yeah,
clear, sir.
we have come here to live, experience life. We all come here to experience life. When we come, there's no difference with each of us. We're all the same. Then we got all these labels based on community, caste, religion. We labeled ourselves and separated ourselves in many, many ways. Right? We can see the separation is not leading necessarily to any greater experience of life. It's only isolating more and more health challenges, more everything. Now, youngsters are suddenly having a collapse. Now, when you look at this perspective of consciousness, the energy that is pervading everywhere, everything is consciousness. Animals are so are animals too. And so everything is conscious evolving. And so we all are here to experience life and then go and then come back and experience life more, learn more and experience. This is how the cycle is. And so to answer your question, animals are there as the next near thing to humans to become individual consciousness. From a group consciousness come to an individual consciousness, very individualized, crystallized consciousness to experience our life the way we would like to, just like you and I want to do. You and I do not like a freedom to be taken away. You will not work in a company if they constantly tell you for 10 ideas, you give 10 ideas, they throw it away. You'll not like to work in a company. You will move. So the freedom is required. Freedom to operate, to live, to express is required. And so we are saying, spiritually speaking, everything is the same. And so everything is allowed to be living its life. It applies to humans, it applies to animals, it applies to everything. Then it's about minimizing consequence in our living. So this is where the consumption from gross consumption becomes minimalistic consumption. When we start meditating more and more, we start becoming aware and say, what do I need? Do I need to hold a lot of things? Do I need to go on stuffing, and at the same time, then that consumptions of all kinds, including food consumption, becomes minimal. Because we're supported naturally nurtured through better vibration of good emotion, with an understanding that life is going great, everything is happening to me is happening for an experience. When you increase an understanding, automatically a better emotion. When a better emotion is body nurtured, energy enhancing activities. And a meditation gives a lot of energy. So naturally, our consumption requirements go less and lesser. And so overall, it's not only just in food consumption. Our consumption about whatever that we are grossly doing. If you are having 1,000 dresses or 100 pairs of shoes, look at it and say, what is required for me? You become minimalistic. It's like that. And so we continue to consume less and less, or minimize consequence to other things in the process of living, right? So that's how we have to look at animals and plants and everything. So then the question gets asked, over plants you're eating, and what about this? There's always levels of consciousness. We ask, you take out some leaves of a tree branch versus an animal take a hand off. They're two different things, it. One is gruesomely, one is gruesome. The blood you cannot see, the sight of the thing you cannot see. There's something happens to you when here this animal is struggling, shaking, shivering. Whereas here, the tree is just, there, quietly there, naturally there. While trees have emotion, when you, by seeing it, you know how much that one is consciously getting impacted, another is not. Individual consciousness, the growth of an animal is becoming more and more individualized, crystallized, like human. And so it has a lot more significant pain and suffering. And so then we minimize, in every way, minimize consequences by reducing consumption. And that's why, in a grand scheme of things, from non-vegetarian to vegetarian to fruitarian, fruits that are there naturally, they're falling off. Whether you accept or not, they're falling off, go away. So you eat fruitarian to breatharian. Beyond the breath. That's what yogis do. There is a concept, right? But then what can I do at this point? While all of this is there, not necessarily everyone being in every stage of it, but what can I do? Can I minimize my needs? And then is there something that can help me? Meditation helps a great deal. And is there an alternate choice for me? Yes, I do. So I'll do that. Madam?
Yes, sir. There is another question from Ravi S. Sir. Although vegetarianism may have health benefits for certain people, there are still many instances of people following a vegetarian diet ending up becoming obese or diabetic, especially in India, where a large chunk of the population is vegetarian. Animal protein is shown to contain essential amino acids B12 and has a higher thermic effect compared to vegan or vegetarian options. For example, many people have used the carnivore diet to lose a lot of fat and become
Yes,
healthier.
yes, enough, madam. Yes.
Okay.
For every research, there is an opposite is there. Now, these debates go on. Now, you say amino acids, then you say in vegetarian combination you can take and easily be there. It is a lack of awareness of what we consume is what causes for eventually for everybody from health. That's why when we go a level higher about this understanding, with awareness we eat, then everything is taken care. The question to ask always is, if there are first of all, to ask ourselves, is there a loving consideration for these animals to live? If you have that question, answer to yourself. Then say, can I have a choice, alternate choice for this? And live, experiment first. If you have an answer that yes, it is good to let an animal live, then say, is there an alternative for me to do? I mean, you can start from there. Start from there. Debates are there. There is so much of food industry. The food industry is trying to certify, they're trying to justify, because there is so much money is there. Money is there, industry money is there. So all kinds of studies are supported. Pharmaceutical industry, all kinds of studies are supported because there is so much money out there. The lobbying is there to support it. On the other hand, there are researchers also say placebo healing. Healing is through placebo effect. A lot of healing happens based on how much strongly believe. All the chronic illnesses today, there's no treatment anywhere. There's no treatment for any chronic illnesses. You just go on, manage it. The reason being is psychosomatic. But then we keep on giving drugs and then drugs and drugs, as opposed to giving this concept of being more positive, being more purpose driven oriented. So then the healing happens. But then constantly we are shut off. And then there is this whole research goes on to prove that this is better, that is better, with the money is put in there. Everything can be written the way we want it. We know this. For everything, the justification can be made easily. And so then, but then where is it? What's the health challenge today? Look at the health crisis today, mental health crisis. What is all this doing now? It's going to come to meditation. It is bound to come to meditation for everything, including food choices, because they are significantly, the non-natural foods that are there, which are significantly hurting the human body. It's be realized, if not now, sooner. Those who sooner dive into this to explore and experience, just like how we're diving into meditation, then we'll come to a great understanding that there's adequate stuff in the vegetarian diet that can be supported by. Diet is not a question. I mean, to me, it's right, not a question. There's adequate energy in the body takes care of itself if you actually tune to the right emotion, which basically eventually is about tuning to the purpose of us. What is the purpose that I'm here for? Which makes me active and energetic and happy and deeply satisfied. That's what drives the body.
Yes, sir. There are two more. Can I take up?
Yes.
Yes, it's rather a sharing from Vijay Kumar. Sir, government should take every care to promote vegetarianism in all primary school, just stopping distributing non-vegetarian food in midday meal, as it is harming like anything the health of children. Today's knowledge may be a great lesson to teach. And the next question is without any name from Zoom user. Vegetarian food beneficial. I need to feed the pets. Is there any choices for pets as pets take non-vegetarian only?
You try with vegetarian food, madam. There are so many meditators now. You give them vegetarian food. We just have not tried. They're happily they take. They take happily and then eat. Try that. There are enough of vegetarians, enough of meditators having that understanding. Give everything has been experimented. We said the other day, talk to the cockroach. Now it is in gross, extreme, right? We have to develop the energy communication, then everything will happen, and we experiment on it. The only thing for these dear friends we say is experiment, experiment, experiment. See what you feel like, right? Everything can be experimented. In the experimentation, it didn't work, then you can, of course, change it. You have nothing to lose. Do it for a few days and see you feel better. Rely on yourself, your intelligence, inner intelligence. The problem is we didn't have that intelligence. Confusion is there because we keep reading everything, but we don't take a signal from our side. Your meditation will give you that inner strength to rely on your thing. Sometimes I've seen people tell, I don't want to go to hospital. I know I am good here. But then because, out of whatever quality we say with love and affection is there. We have money, and then we read somewhere this is not good, and so we push them. They say, "No, I don't want to go to hospital. I want to be here at home. Let me be. We must let them be." They are tuning into their beautiful heart, and so we got to let them be. So the thing is, we experiment, and then we tune into a feeling to say, yes, I feel good, I don't feel good. That's where it is. Everything else does not really matter. You feel good, you go on. Meditation will move us towards great purpose. So it is better to live for 10 years than to know and being very purposeful than to be 100 years dragging ourselves without necessarily contributing.
Shubhdashi Mishra, sir.
Okay, we're at 8 o'clock. Okay, take one. That'll go somewhere. Yes,
Sir, Namaskar, sir. I wanted to inform one of our master was asking the non-vegetarian for the pet. So I wanted to put it on record that my pet is vegetarian from day one. She doesn't take non-veg. She even doesn't like to have it. This is the first thing. Second is I started meditation from 2021, and uh, after maybe 15, 20 days, automatically uh, I moved to vegetarianism. It doesn't took any stress or pressure for me to kind of to move. It's just a call from inside. It automatically happens. Just have to have the faith. Thank you.
thank you, Subdarshi sir. All right, friends. So that's good to know that your pet is a vegetarian pet, rather you only give vegetarian food. Everything can work. We have to experiment because we talk through this concepts of energy communication, thoughts bring reality, and so we have to just experiment on it. Then we have our own choices to make. So thank you all. We bring awareness because sometimes everything is awareness, right? Everything is awareness. About taking medication versus healing yourself is an awareness thing, right? Great respect to all organizations that are working for animal rights. So thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you.
I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today and let go of who I was before the dawn. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today and let go of who I was before the dawn. Whenever
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, dear friends and masters. Keep having fun and frolic with your breath. Be with your breath. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing all of you in batch 2 session and next morning batch 1 session. That is 6 a.m. IST.